Hi, PSY202 class. I wanted to do a quick video up to just walk you through the project because there has been a few questions. So if you haven't found your article yet, this is what you need to do. You can go to the online North Country library, or I usually will start with Google Scholar because they have a great search engine. And then if I find an article that Google Scholar doesn't offer in full text, then I will go into the college online library to find it. But let's start off here. So we need to find two articles that we're going to break down, two articles that are related to each other that we're going to break down and compare and contrast in our paper. So let's see. Maybe I want to do violent media and aggression. I'm curious if watching violent media causes aggression. So I'm putting in the term, and I'm putting in and then the other term. Now, you might have to throw in a whole bunch of different terms to see what works, and just try out different things. It's important that you make sure that the paper is from the last 10 years. So I'm going to put in 2012. Okay. Now, when you're going through these, you're going to want to, if you want full text, if you want the whole article and you don't have to pay, then these links over here show the full text. All right. If you want one of these over here that don't have the full text, you can always go into the library, our online library, and see if you can find that article. But I'm going to start, and I'm going to take a look at this one, see if it is primary research. Primary research is research done by the authors. It is them going out and doing interviews or surveys or an experiment, or they are going out and collecting data. Now, secondary research is when they take research that has already been done and they review it. So if you're reading through a paper and you see something that says systematic review or literature review, if it says anything like that, review, that means it's secondary research. And those are important studies in psychology, but for the purposes of this paper, I want you to have primary research. And so that's what is really important. You want peer-reviewed meaning a scholarly paper that, and using Google Scholar will get you that. And primary means it's research done by the authors. Okay, so I'm going into the abstract and I'm going to take a look and try to figure out what type of study this is. All right, so I'm going in and it says, okay, participants. All right, it says N equals 371. Ooh, okay, so what this is showing to me is that 371 people, psychologists, and 268 parents did an online survey. All right, so this is primary research. They're doing their own survey. So this is a great article. This could be one that I could use, okay? Let's go in and take a look at another one because we need to find two. So what I'm doing is just right-clicking so I can open it up into a second one. Okay, so this is looking, it says da-da-da-da. All right, so I'm reading through this, and it looks, if it doesn't show like a methods paragraph, then this isn't a primary research. This is somebody writing about the research that has already been done. So I'm not seeing any N equals, I'm not seeing anything about a survey or participants. So this looks like secondary research. So this wouldn't be one I want to use for this paper. Let's go back in. All right, so let's open up this guy. I'm reading through this. Okay. And it's saying our sample. Okay, so that's promising. Includes 100. Oh, okay. Look at what it's saying. It's saying our sample includes studies. Okay, so this means that they are reviewing studies done by other people. Oh, see, it says a meta-analysis review. That means that's secondary research. That's not them doing the survey. That's them reviewing articles that other people did the research on. So this is secondary research. I don't want this one. So I'm going to go back and let's see. Let's check out. Let's check out this guy. All right, so this is, we propose, In the study, we have 134th graders, and we are measuring a bunch of different stuff. I'm going through, let's see if it has a section that says methods. Yep, methods. All right, and it says participants. Okay, there's people here, not studies. So this is primary research. This is another great one that I could use. All right, so I found my 2 research articles. Now, before I click out of Google Scholar, what I'm going to do is open up a Word document. Let me just start fresh. I'm opening up a Word document, and I want to write references. Oh, I spelled that really wrong. So references, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the page. It's not works cited. Do not put works cited. We say references in psychology and APA. Now, I'm going to get my first article, the information. It's the reassessing. Go back to Google Scholar, reassessing. Okay, it's this one right here. So I'm going to click on the site, and I'm going to go to where it says APA, and I'm going to copy that. So I right-click on it, copy, go into the document, right click, and right click. Ooh, did I not do it? Let's go back here. Copy it, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so I have my first one. Let's get my second one. The second article was what? There is a broad consensus. There is a broad consensus. Okay, so it's this article. I'm going to hit cite. I'm going to get the information. I'm going to paste it into my paper, my references. All right, so I have the information. What I'm going to do is highlight all this, make sure that it's all the same font, Times New Roman 12. Okay, and I am going to go paragraph, hanging indent, double space. Okay. All right, beautiful. So here we go. But I also need this in alphabetical order. So I'm going to take the B, see the B in the name. Oops, I did something. I got rid of something. I'm going to take the B goes before the G. All right. So there we go. Here's your references list. I would double check to make sure that it's appropriate, that it's the right APA. Sometimes they're going to have like all these extra capitals, and that's not correct APA. There should only be a capital the first letter of the title and the first letter after a colon. So if you see a whole bunch of extra capitals, just go in there and change that. The name of the journal should be in italics. So that's all looking good. Look, we already have our reference page done. Woo-hoo! All right, so now what are we going to do? So we are going to pull up. I'm going to come over to here. Okay, so this is a drawing that I did kind of planning out my research paper. So I imagine that it's going to be about 6 pages. It needs to be about 4 pages of text. So the first page would be an APA formatted title page. Do a quick Google for what APA formatted title page, what it should look like, what information should be included. You need the title page. Okay. Then you go into the introduction. The introduction should say something like, in this paper, I'm going to be reviewing 2 peer-reviewed journal articles on the topic of After I review the articles, I will compare and contrast them as well as connect them to Site 202. All right, so I do include a, where is it? I do include an example. Okay, here is an example of what it should include. Now, this is not the correct font. This is not double space. This is not elaborated, but on Canvas, I offer this just so that you know what the wording should be. So here's an example of the introduction, okay? Now, in APA, we always refer to the articles by the author's names. Don't say like first article or second article, you refer to them by their last names. The first time that you use a last name of an article, you have to write out all of the last names. And unless there are more than 4 last names. After you write out the names the first time, then you can put, so for this one right here, the first time you would put in all of these names. You'd say Bushman, that one, and 2015, and then you'd go and talk about it. That's how you refer to the articles. Now, after you have said all of the names, the next time that you mention this article, you can go Bushman et al. Okay? And then you can say what you want to say. Don't, in your paper, say the first article, second article, and that's how you're referring to them. APA, we use last names to refer to it. Okay, so let's see. Let's go and go back to the picture. All right, so that's your introduction. You're just saying, hey, I'm going to go over 2 articles on a certain topic. I'm going to review them, connect them to PSY202, compare and contrast them. And so then the second section, you're going to go into your article 1. You're going to summarize it. You're going to hit on all the information that is asked for in the rubric, in the instructions. Okay, so here's the rubric. This is posted on Blackboard. Just make sure you go through and you hit on all this information. What's the journal name? Make sure that you have that journal name in there. Who's the sample? Who was in the study? Make sure to describe it. What type of study was it? What type of variables were measured? What did they want to know? What were the results and the conclusions and the weaknesses of the study? And throughout it, you should be having in-text citations with that author's name. Okay, so here you're breaking down Article 1, you're breaking down Article 2. Then the third section, you're going to compare and contrast. You're going to say, that the 2 articles were in agreement or that they differed. And throughout it, remember to refer to the articles by the author's last names, okay? You're going to connect the articles, the topic, to PSY202 very specifically. Don't be very vague. Make sure you're very specific. Maybe include a quote from the textbook. Saying that this topic relates to PSY202 in, because in chapter whatever we discussed this and this term came up, or here's a quote, something like that. And then the conclusion is saying in this paper you reviewed 2 articles, you compared and you contrasted them on the topic of and you connected it to PSY202. And then your references list. Make sure it's ABC order. Don't write works cited, write references, make sure it's double spaced, make sure it's APA formatted, make sure it's hanging indent. Make sure your whole paper is the correct APA font. Use 12-point Times New Roman, that works. And your margins around the paper should be 1 inch. Okay, that's just all APA stuff. All right, so